Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Raid and Climb series for the Pawn Storm YouTube channel. If you're new to the series, I just take you through games I'm trying to, I'm playing on chess.com to, I just get my rating up. And I think I have like 4 or 5 episodes so far, but again, just adding to it. But we are going to get in right now, and as of this video now, I'm up to 1101, so we are going to be starting the episode today with that rating. Here we go. And I'm playing with the black piece, so I'll flip it. Okay. And also, I hope the audio is okay. I was messing with my microphone yesterday, so hopefully it's okay. All right, here we go. Playing with the black pieces. I've been doing pretty well so far with playing. I've been playing fairly well, I think, and but anyway, here we go. E4, D5, E takes, Queen takes, Knight C3, and I just get my normal, nice Scandinavian position. My opponent goes Knight to F3, and I just decide to pin in this game. Bishop to E3. We have this move, and I learned this move actually from a Gotham Chess video when he was going over his variation of the Scandinavian. You should definitely check that out. You can check it out over here. I'll put a link to that. Definitely check that out. But in that video, he actually thinks that line castling is good because you can kind of, I guess, play this kind of trick on your opponent where they can't, of course, they can't take you because of this. But my opponent goes bishop to D3, and I take here. And my opponent doesn't see that. I mean, well, it's fine because I'm not really threatening to take the bishop, but they castle. I take the bishop. Now they go here, and I go E5. Now H3 to attack the bishop, and I take. Queen takes, and now F6. When I played F6, I wasn't crazy about the move, but looking back, I would have played something different, but the point is, it's just threatening. I could have gone, rook to D7, and it would have stopped the check too, but we have this, king B8, and this check doesn't really hurt me. I could just move. So after rook FD1, I go knight to E7, and G6, bishop G7. I'm just trying to get my dark square bishop out because before then, both my dark square bishop and my rook have just been sitting on their squares and just doing nothing. Bishop to B5. I trade, and I go queen to B6 check. And now rook to G8. The point of rook to G8 is I just wanted to, in the future, move my bishop, and move the pawn to like H6 or H5, but I had to be protecting the pawn. But here I decided to go to F5 instead. And here, and actually no, that wasn't the idea. The idea was when I pushed the pawn to F5, I wanted to make sure I was protecting the bishop. Because if I would have kept the rook on H8 and pushed, I would have lost my bishop, which, wouldn't have been good. So we have this, and rook to E8. They can take my pawn, but I'm threatening a few things too. So if they would take, I probably would have gone like here. I don't know. There's a lot of things that would be good, but probably not that. Bishop to F7. And instead of just moving my rook, I decide to just counterattack. Queen takes. And now rook to H8 attacking, rook to D6 check. I just take, and they just blunder their rook. Apparently they thought that they were going to win something, but nope, they just blundered their rook, and now queen to H6, and I'm just up a rook. Rook to H8. After this, they're down a rook, so it's pretty easy now. Here, they also blunder their queen, so I'm up a queen and a rook for a bishop. And again, if you can outplay these guys in the opening / middle game, you will have a significantly easier time because we're at move 27 and there's still a little bit left, but Yeah, this guy is 1070. Okay, almost an 1100, and I'm 1100, but again, almost an 1100 rated player and still makes elementary mistakes. So actually, I'm coming out with videos soon about traps and stuff that you'll definitely want to check that out. It's a more I made a video like this a couple months ago, but more in depth and a lot of fun videos coming up. So maybe I'll put a link in the description, or you can check it out. It'll be coming up in maybe a couple weeks or something, or a week or two. Anyway, knight to d5, and of course I want to trade, obviously, because I'm up a lot. And then I go e4, and he takes. I mean, he doesn't have to, but I go here and I take instead like this. Check, take the pawns, go here, and just clean up time. Here, 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 here. Check. Rook to f8, king g3, queen takes, h4, queen f3 check, king h2, queen f1. Now it's just like mate in like 5 or something with this, and that. And that was game number 1, which I won with the black pieces. Very happy about that. And actually that brought me up to 1101. So I passed the 1100 rating. So that brought me up to 1101. So I'm showing you 2 more games here. So let's get those. But before I go, I just wanted to say that when I started this rating journey, I don't exactly know what I was at. I was probably at maybe 1,000. Maybe I was probably like high 900s. But yeah, I'm very happy with how much I've grown since then, and I definitely have to contribute or attribute some of that to not just my own study and resolve to get better, but also I have to attribute some of that to people that have drilled the stuff into me, and just I don't mean literally. I don't mean literally drilled it into me, but because that would just be painful, and I wouldn't want to do that. But people who have mentored me, I guess, and just taught me to take my time and not overthink things. Well, overthinking is better than underthinking, but take my time, really think about things, but also don't be afraid to sacrifice sometimes and have some fun. It's a game. It's sometimes there's high stakes and stuff, but in general, it's a game. You're supposed to have fun, and you're not supposed to make your whole life about it and get stressed all day because you don't win your 10-second bullet chess arena on chess.com. So it's like it. Yeah, I have to attribute some of that to that. But anyway, enough with that stuff, and let's get into game number 2. Okay, so my opponent with the black pieces has a very unusual name. It's haha you lose, but it's haha with 2 A's, 2 U's in you, and it's actually haha you lose because that's 2 O's in lose, I guess. But nonetheless, I think most people would get what that means, and my opponent is rated 1084. So yeah, here we go. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so from last game, starting off with the same rating that I got from the last game, 1101, and again playing with the black pieces. So not much has changed, except my opponent. And he goes e4. We have the exact same thing. Knight to c3, queen a5, d3 this time. Knight to f6, bishop d2, c6, and c6 basically is just creating a little thing for my queen to get back if at any time they move the knight. It's just there so your queen can have a safe spot instead of like moving it over to the center where it could be more susceptible to getting attacked. So c6, knight e4 now, and I actually never seen knight e4. I've always seen something like knight to d5, even though actually no, not knight to d5. No. I guess when I play this position, I don't play c6 because then knight to e5 doesn't make any sense. I probably play something like knight to c6, and then they go. I don't know. Knight to e4 might be more common, but in this case, instead of moving the queen back to c7 or something, or b6, I end up actually going queen to e5, knight to f3, queen to e6, and I just keep the pin there. And now queen f3, I take, he takes with the knight, take, and I go bishop to e6. And I'm just, at this point, I'm trying to get my pieces out. Long castle, most likely, go g6 or something. Bishop to c3, knight d7, long castle, now knight to c5, knight to e5, take here, I take back, takes, and I'm up a bishop, it looks like, which I didn't know what, oh no, here, yeah. So he sacked his knight. I guess he just didn't think that my bishop was there, which it's right there, but maybe he didn't see it. And now we're at this position, up a bishop, and now I'm just wanting to trade down material, obviously. Um, sorry. I go here because I want to go g5, obviously, h5, g5, and I don't want my rook to be taken. f4, and now I go g5, f5. At this point in the game, I was trying to win these pawns, obviously, but when he pushed here, I spent some time, and I was thinking, maybe like e6, but then after f6, I don't really know how to move my bishop, and then my bishops are kind of stuck, but I do end up going e6, and he goes f6, and I just bring my bishop over. I go rook to g6, rook h5, and this whole thing over here on the king side lasted like for a while, because it was just so closed, and the rooks were there, the pawns were stuck there, and I didn't really, I had my two rooks. I was up a bishop, but at this point, I almost wasn't even feeling it, because I couldn't move my rook because I would take my bishop. So I was thinking, okay, so I can't move my dark square bishop because then it'll take my pawn. So what I came up with was after rook e1, I went bishop to g8 because my point was here, I can move the dark square bishop now because now my light square bishop is defending the pawn. Rook to e1, and I guess he just didn't even see any of the stuff I saw. So I go h6, and then go bishop to f7. King h1, yeah, he didn't see any of this stuff, I guess, because I go rook to g5, and he goes rook to h4. I push now, and now he's like totally trapped with the rook. But he goes rook to e1. I go c5, and c5 is just meant I want to go b5, and then I want to go b4 and just kick the bishop out, and then I want to take on e5 with my rook. h3 now. I end up just taking, and now I go b5, a3, and I take here, because I'm like, he can't take back, so he moves, and now I take. And instead of taking, which he goes rook to d1, which is actually a lot better, because you don't want to trade, obviously, because he's down to bishop and a pawn now. I go rook to f5, and now I'm threatening to take the other pawn, and he definitely can't protect it so well without either trading or just losing a piece altogether. So he goes king h2, I take, he goes rook to b3, I go a5, rook e3, bishop h6, here, and I trade down, and now, it's just a totally winning endgame because I'm just up a bishop and two pawns. And I go here, my bishop is protecting, I go here, trade, here, and he resigns here. It's over pretty soon, I would say. Here, I'm either going to promote or I'm going to just win the pawn and then bring my king over and win with a king and rook. But this game, especially here in this, I want to be going over here. This part over here was a lot harder for me. I was spending a lot of time on this king side scenario thing, and I don't do very well with like closed positions like that. I like just an open position. So I spent a lot of time, but overall, I think I made some pretty good choices. Definitely, not the best, I would say, all things considered. But I don't know. It's always nice to, yeah, to get a win and just, I don't know. I think I played fairly well. But um, I don't know if it's all totally just me playing well or me just capitalizing on maybe mistakes that my opponent made, because there were definitely some moves that I was not happy about. Most of them were probably here in this kind of complicated middle game, but other than that, I was very happy with this win, and that brings it up to 1111 or 1000 1111, which is kind of a funny number, but that's what it is. And let's get into game number 3 now. Game number 3 is fun because after game number 2, my opponent actually offered me a rematch. So we played a rematch. Now I'm playing with the white pieces. So let's flip the board around. Here we go with game number 3, last game. This game was very short, less than 30 moves. So we'll keep it short and sweet. You guys know me, Queen's Gambit, favorite thing. I got a shirt with the notation on it. I play it all the time. Queen's Gambit, Catalan. If it's got d4 in it, I'll play it no matter what it is. d4, d5, c4. My opponent goes knight to f6, knight f3. I get my normal, nice Queen's Gambit accepted thing. Bishop g4 now. I hesitate to take the pawn here, which I probably shouldn't have done because I was okay. But I was afraid that, my queen is there on d1, defending the pawn on d4, right? But my knight on f3 is also defending. So there's two defenders. But if their bishop would have taken my knight, that relinquishes a defender, right? And then they would have had two attackers to my one defender. So I go bishop to e3 and a3 because they're going to go bishop to b4. And they go a6 for some reason. I don't know why. Bishop to e2, b5, and we trade here. We both castle. And now e5, and I'm just trying to open the position. Knight to d5. I take here. And now I try to chip away. f6. And I take here. We trade. And now I'm just up a piece. Actually, I'm sorry about that. I'm not up a piece. We traded and... that's what it is. I got the pawn back that I lost in the opening with the gambit. So I'm not up a piece. We traded, I have bishop for knight. King h8. And this, I trade. And now queen c1, queen e4. My opponent actually played a lot better in this one. But alas, this game was very short. There were some very bad mistakes, unfortunately, that my opponent played. He was a very good player in the beginning, and after game review, I think game review gave him like a 12 or 1300, estimation for rating, so that was nice. But there were a few mistakes made. So after queen to d3, I played queen d2, and here, and now I can see. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with what I played because I could have just taken the pawn on d3 with my rook, but instead I trade, and then I go king f2. It's fine, but I could have done this a lot cleaner with just this, and this would have been so much easier. But whatever. So bishop takes. Rook takes, now king to f2, and the point is after this, this is where my opponent blundered because they go c4 and they just give their rook up. This is like a very common mistake. You think I don't know exactly what it is. It could be something with the pawns, the geometry of the board, I don't know, but my opponent, or maybe they just forgot that their rook was there, I don't know. But after this, they resigned, so that brings the total actually now up to what it currently is as of today, the 18th of June, which is 11:20. Ending the episode at 11:20. Actually, this will be funny, but if any of these, I didn't tell them about it, but if any of these people who played these games against me are watching, Thank you all for watching. If I said anything, insulting or something, I didn't mean to. I'm just trying to narrate the games as good as possible, but hope you all enjoyed, everyone who stayed around to watch. And if you want to check out some more videos, definitely recommend this one to any beginners watching. And you can subscribe here, and I'll see you all in the next video. It's dark here, so I'm gonna go to bed, but thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. May your mates be merry on the chessboard as